Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Today I'm reviewing a limited edition cigar from two powerhouse cigar families, the Garcias and the Quesadas. Actually, this is the Tres Reynas, which means three queens or three sisters. This is the Robusto 5x50. It's the brainchild of Janny Garcia and Patricia Quesada and Raquel Quesada. The cigar is comprised of the Connecticut broadleaf wrapper around Nicaraguan binder and filler, and it is made in the My Father factory in Esteli. So let's get right to it. Before we do, the cigar I noticed is triple capped and has there's your density. And I think we're ready to do the review. Let's get right to it. The Tres Reynas Robusto. All right. Very good draw. Has just a touch of firmness to it, but not nearly enough to. Actually, it's very close to effortless. Very close. What do you think a cigar made by three ladies in the cigar industry would be like? Well, we're about to find out. Well, I'm really getting something that's not unusual. What I'll describe as an orange citrus with milk chocolate and espresso. And those are the three main flavors. The sweet notes are the orange citrus, which are very distinguishable. Milk chocolate and espresso. And I mean, that's just your three flavors. The pepper is very good. It is a jet black pepper. Really only about a 6.5 or 7-ish. It's not overpowering. At this very early stage, the cigar comes across as medium bodied, but those are your main flavors, and I'm going to let it settle down as I always do. So let's see where we go from here. The Tres Reynas Robusto. Well, I'm about an inch or a little over into it, and the cigar is settled down, and you have lost a little of the sweetness in the orange. It now seems to be either the addition of nutmeg or changing over to nutmeg. There are some charred oak notes or a dry oak with just a little singeing of the oak, and the chocolate may be more of a dark chocolate now. And the espresso notes are just about your lead flavor. I happen to like the flavor of espresso, so this doesn't bother me at all. But there are a lot of espresso notes in this cigar. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Cigar still medium bodied. The finish is interesting. I'm getting notes of dark chocolate on the finish, cream, lingering pepper. So that's where we are at about it. Actually, I'd call it 1.25 inch, almost 1.5 inches in. It's just a 5-inch cigar. So let's see where we go from here. Very nice. Already I can tell you that this would be a fantastic after dinner cigar. For those of you who like that type of thing, how do you pair up cigars? This would be a good after dinner cigar. Very, very good. So let's see where we go from here. Well, we're pretty much at the midpoint, and while you still have a few notes of sweetness, the nutmeg and orange citrus are very faint. Your predominant flavor is espresso. You also have a nutty flavor, which is almost like what I would call an almond butter. And the chocolate notes, the dark chocolate notes, they're really on the faint side. You still have the predominant espresso flavors, the coffee notes. The finishes, you have a lot of influences of the almond butter on the finish, a lot of coffee notes on the finish. I would say those two are the primary finish flavors now. The lingering pepper is still there, not overly intense, but quite noticeable. And I would still call the cigar medium bodied. Still basically a lot of dark notes in this cigar. Don't think that'll change. Well, we're down to the end, so let's wrap it up. You're going to get an hour out of this cigar. The cigar made transition after transition. You had, at any given point, you had accentuations on all the notes we've gone over. They would float in and out. You would at times have dark chocolate notes, and they would go away, and they would be replaced by the nutty flavors. I described it as an almond butter. Roasted nuts. The constant was the espresso coffee. There were times when the cedar and the citrus notes were a little more obvious than others. They never were dominating, but you had sweet notes and they would fade away into predominantly coffee notes. Chocolate notes would come and go, dark chocolate. The cigar just changed constantly. It was impossible to come back every time it changed because they wouldn't stay long enough to comment on. Does that make sense? They would change that quick. So even the finish changed. Cigars ended up medium bodied. And this would be, as I said, a good after dinner cigar. Myself, I have to be in a mood for a heavy coffee cigar like this. And I just would put it in the category of a nice after dinner cigar. After a nice meal, maybe after a nice dessert, something sweet, and this would follow it up nicely. The cigar has been very good, and as I said, numerous changes. I'm rating this cigar a 91. Very good after dinner cigar. So the ladies can be proud of what they've done, and I'm sure the both families are very proud of the cigar. So there you have it, the Reynas Robusto 91.